Ursula von der Leyen and the EU have signed a new deal for COVID-19 vaccines with Moderna. Ursula von der Leyen signs a new COVID vaccine contract with Moderna. The European Commission, through its Health Emergency Preparedness and Response Authority, HERA, has signed a joint procurement framework contract with Moderna for the supply of up to 146 million doses of its mRNA COVID-19 vaccine. The agreement was announced on January 24, 2025. It's important to note that while the European Commission, led by President Ursula von der Leyen, facilitated this agreement, the contract was officially signed by HERA on behalf of the participating countries. In the last pandemic, the EU purchased over 4.2 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccines for a population of around 450 million. This means that theoretically, each person could have received about 10 doses. The largest contract was with Pfizer-BioNTech, which secured up to 1.8 billion doses, a deal personally negotiated by von der Leyen. Many of these doses ended up unused, sparking criticism over wastage, cost, and lack of transparency in the negotiations. The purchase strategy aimed to ensure enough vaccines for boosters, variants, and global donations. However, given the declining demand and the lifting of pandemic restrictions, billions of euros worth of vaccines were left unused or destroyed. Von der Leyen reportedly exchanged private text messages with Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla, which have never been disclosed, raising concerns over transparency. The contract details remain undisclosed, and legal actions have been taken against the European Commission for lack of transparency. Some EU countries have been forced to pay for vaccine doses they do not need or destroy expired stock. The European Public Prosecutor's Office, EPO, has been actively investigating the EU's acquisition of COVID-19 vaccines. In October 2022, the EPO confirmed an ongoing investigation into the procurement process, though specific details remain confidential to protect the integrity of the investigation. A significant focus of scrutiny has been the communication between European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla. Reports indicate that von der Leyen engaged in direct negotiations with Bourla, including the exchange of text messages during the procurement process. The European Commission has faced criticism for not disclosing these communications, leading to allegations of a lack of transparency. The New York Times has taken legal action against the Commission for access to these messages, highlighting the broader concerns about transparency in the EU's vaccine procurement. The EU's strategy to secure a substantial number of vaccine doses resulted in a significant surplus. An analysis by Politico revealed that at least 215 million doses purchased by EU countries were discarded, representing an estimated cost of 4 billion euros to taxpayers. This wastage has raised concerns about the efficiency and financial oversight of the procurement process. In July 2024, the EU's General Court ruled that the European Commission unlawfully concealed details of its COVID-19 vaccine contracts. The court found that the Commission failed to justify the redaction of certain contract details and emphasized the necessity for greater transparency, especially concerning potential conflicts of interest and indemnity clauses for vaccine manufacturers. Ursula von der Leyen's husband, Heiko von der Leyen. In December 2020, he was appointed the medical director of Orgenesis. Orgenesis Inc. has several ties with pharmaceutical companies, primarily through its business model focused on cell and gene therapies and its strategic partnerships and acquisitions. Here are some key connections. In April 2020, Orgenesis announced the acquisition of Tamir Biotechnology's assets, which included the rampinase platform, an antiviral technology. This acquisition aimed at expanding Orgenesis's capabilities in antiviral treatments, especially in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. Coligo Therapeutics. Orgenesis signed a merger agreement to acquire Coligo Therapeutics in September 2020. Coligo was involved in developing personalized cell therapies, particularly through 3D bioprinting technology. This move allowed Orgenesis to leverage Coligo's technology across its PoCare platform, focusing on regenerative medicine applications. Orgenesis has entered into collaborations with various academic and research institutions, which indirectly ties them to pharmaceutical research and development. For example, they announced collaborations with Johns Hopkins University and the University of California, Davis for developing and supplying cell and gene therapies. Orgenesis's PoCare point-of-care platform is designed to decentralize the manufacturing process of cell and gene therapies, making them more accessible and cost-effective. This platform has been of interest to pharmaceutical companies looking to scale up or innovate in therapy production without the traditional centralized manufacturing approach. While not direct ties, Orgenesis's funding and investment rounds involve investors from the biotech and pharmaceutical sectors. For instance, Metalmark Capital, an investment firm with interests in life sciences, has been associated with Orgenesis. Heiko von der Leyen's background in medicine and previous roles might indirectly link Orgenesis to broader pharmaceutical networks, given his connections. Orgenesis focuses on licensing therapies from hospitals and research institutions, which are then developed further into market-ready products. This model can involve partnerships with pharmaceutical companies for the final stages of clinical development, regulatory approval, and commercialization. These connections show that Orgenesis, while not a traditional pharmaceutical company itself, intersects with the pharmaceutical industry through strategic acquisitions, partnerships, and by providing innovative solutions for therapy development and manufacturing. However, the nature of these relationships primarily revolves around the development of cell and gene therapies, rather than conventional drug manufacturing or sales.